right, hey team, April Owens here, ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and tonight what I wanted to talk about was lists. Like we just started for some of you guys the Silver and Seven challenge, and basically what that is it's a method and a process designed to help you gain 3 new ambassadors in 7 days. So for those of you who are just starting out, to get those 3 ambassadors to go silver, that would be the first step. In Once you go silver, you get to be part of profit sharing with Plexus. And so that's definitely the first step when trying to build your team. And silver would be 3 active ambassadors with a welcome pack or with their 100 PV, and that gets you to silver. But like myself, I'm at senior gold looking to go to ruby, and I'm still looking to go silver in 7 as well, because I'd love to add 3 new people to my team this week. So I'm doing the challenge right along with you guys. And day 1 of the Silver and 7 challenge has to do with making a list of people. And if we following Sarah Taylor's videos, how she says is to take 60 seconds and start writing down names of anybody who you can think of who are not currently involved in Plexus. So you don't want to write my name down. But and we don't want to prejudge people. We don't want to say, oh, well, I'm not going to write that person down because there's no way they're going to be interested in Plexus, or this person can't afford it, or this person doesn't need the money. We're not worried about who's going to be interested. We're not worried about prejudging people. We just want to start making a list of people. Sarah says to do it for 60 seconds. I say go for 60 seconds or until you have a minimum of 20 people. And that goes for anybody who's starting out who really wants to make this business work. Let's get a list together, get you out a notebook or just a sheet of paper or something. When I first started out, I would just tear sheets out of a notebook or off of a legal pad and start writing down names that way. And I want to actually share with you what I do now. This right here is the list. It's a book dedicated to my list, and it's shiny, sparkly pink. So this is definitely my Plexus list because I'm really not a shiny, sparkly pink kind of person. But I thought it made a great one for my book. So this right here, as you can see, I've got pages of names here. And what I do, I started out just writing down names, anybody I could think of. Some of these people, because people are like, oh, I don't know that many people. Well, let me tell you what. I have people I only know from Facebook on this list. I have people I know from church, people I went to high school with, people I maybe have a casual acquaintance with. Some of these people are my family members. Some of them I go to church with. Some of them I know through homeschooling my kids. But, and you can see like where I have check marks next to people's names. Once I have contacted them, I write a check mark next to it. Now, just because I've written someone's name down and have a check mark next to it doesn't necessarily mean it was a super great positive Plexus conversation and they're gonna join. Now some of these people are already joined, like right here, this one that's circled. If they're circled, that means that they became an ambassador. And that is Andy Hicks, who is on the call right now. So I had her on my list, I sent her a message, and now she's on my team. But start with a list. And oh, I said that wrong. On the circling, Andy, I said that was for people who joined my team. That's not true. I actually write it out over here to the side. Joined as an ambassador, ambassador, joined as an ambassador. Okay, these circles, Andy, you're going to love this. You see how your name is circled right there? After you get your list together, I want you to circle. If you have a list of, say, 20 people, I want you to circle 5 Dream Team members. Andy, you were on my Dream Team. I told you, like that night I sent you that message. I just knew that I needed to talk to you about Plexus and about the business. And I prayed over it, and there you go. You were on my dream team list. Hang on one second, guys. I have an upset Frenchie. I didn't want to listen to her crying. Okay, so start out that way. Get a list no less than 20 people. Circle 5 of those people who you think, man, I'd really like to have them on my team. Now, you can start making notes out next to that, either products or business, but try not to prejudge people too much. But like the very first person on this list, I happen to know that she has multiple sclerosis, an autoimmune disorder, and I happen to know that our ProBio 5 can help to boost your immune system. So people like that who maybe have an autoimmune disorder, I know that I'm definitely going to come to them from a product standpoint. And that first name on my list there, not only did I come to her in that way, but she actually joined as an ambassador yesterday morning. But this list, I think I started this one maybe 2 months ago. So you can see, just because you have contact with someone doesn't mean they're going to join right away. Doesn't mean they're not going to join. I think Katie is probably been 2 months since we first talked about Plexus, and then she joined as a wholesale ambassador yesterday. So don't get discouraged, even because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I really want to talk to you, I want to get involved in that, and then you won't hear from them, and even when you follow up, they don't message you back. Don't get discouraged on that. People have busy lives, and just assume that they're busy and they'll get back to you later. Or I do this thing where people text me and I mentally text them back, but I never actually text them back. So, I give people the benefit of the doubt. I assume that they were going to get back to me, or that they will eventually get back to me. And if they don't, then it's just another person that I get to follow up with on Follow Up Fridays. So, so that's how you start your list, but you never want to stop growing your list. I try to add to this list. Like, I went to an event a few weeks ago, and I met a lot of new people. And then I had a lot of people who I talked to, not about Plexus, just people I met. I had a lot of people I talked to that I didn't have on my list because it wasn't someone that came to mind when I'm sitting down and writing names down. So I thought, oh man, I got to add these people to my list. So that night I came home from that event. I got out my book and I wanted to write down the names before I forgot about it. So I think I probably added 10 names that night. I try to add no less than 10 a week. I've got 14 or so hundred Facebook friends, so I've got a big pool of people. Maybe you don't have that many friends on Facebook, but you still have a large pool of people. You still come into contact with people every day. So that's what I do. I start out with this, and then I put a check mark next to them. And like, I'm involved in a challenge where I have to contact a minimum of 2 people a day, outside of our Silver and 7 challenge. And so that's where I'm drawing from. I'm drawing from this list. Now, if I think of somebody who I think, oh man, or I saw something that they posted on Facebook, but I'd never had them on my list, first thing I do is write their name on here. If I'm at home, I write their name on here, and then I contact them and put a check mark next to it. Because just because they're not on my list yet doesn't mean I shouldn't contact them. And just because I've contacted or haven't contacted them yet doesn't mean they shouldn't be on there. So I try to add them immediately. If I'm not at home and not with my list, then I'll write their name down when I get home, even if I've already contacted them, because this is like just a master list. Now, sometimes you'll contact people via Facebook message, via text message, and they don't respond. Sometimes, it takes them a little while to respond. You know, I like the Facebook messages because you can see when they've read it, but at the same time, it's hard not to stalk that and be like, have they read it yet? Have they read it yet? And just keep on waiting on them to respond. And sometimes they're going to read it and, you know, they're not going to respond. Don't let that discourage you. You just keep doing what you're doing because you're planting seeds regardless. But I want to show you what happens once they do contact me back. Okay, I have these little notebooks. This one right here is a training one, and it's twofold. On the front of this book, I do training topics, training ideas, and any training that I'm in on, like my uplines training, I take notes on what they're saying. But then I flip it over to the back side here, and I've got a whole new set. This is conversations that I have with people. So I usually do no more than 3 on one of these little pages because it may be months that I'm back and forth talking with someone before they ever actually sign up, like that first person on my list. Well, she's the first one over here. So I made a note of the day that we talked, what she was interested in, why she was interested in Plexus, whether it's for weight loss or for health reasons or just, you know, need more energy. Whatever they tell me, I write that down and kind of in shorthand. And I write down the date that we discussed it and what we talked about. Like she was leaving for vacation and wanted to get together after she got back from vacation. So that's literally what I wrote down because I don't want to forget and go to contact her and she's gone on vacation. Well, I should have known better because she told me she's going to be on vacation. And I don't want to follow up with someone too close together. So then I even write down the days that I follow up. So like and now even this right here on 3/23, I wrote that I sent her a non-Plexus related message. I was just asking her about her vacation. So I keep a running list of that. And then over here, I circle them and I write joined as ambassador once they join or if they sign up as a customer. So, but I have a really sad one here. This one actually, she passed away. So, I mean, I write everything down. Every time we have a conversation, I write the date and what we discussed because my memory is not that good. And I talk with, you know, maybe 100 people a week about Plexus, and how am I going to remember what we talked about? So, and not necessarily about Plexus, but I'm contacting about 100 people a week. Some of those conversations turn into Plexus. Some of them are just outright, you know, contacting people about Plexus. But that's how I use my lists. And even if it was a negative response and they're like, you know, I don't ever want to hear about Plexus again, boy, I'm going to write that down because I'm not going to message them and bother them. But one of the cool things is some of the people who say they never want to hear about it again, they'll come back to you in a few months and they'll be like, okay, so tell me about this Plexus thing. So no's aren't always no's forever. Sometimes they're just no's for now. So don't even be discouraged by a no. There's an author out there. His name is Eric Worre, and he's come and spoken at leadership retreats with Plexus, and I think he was at one of our conventions. But he's amazing, and he has a book called Go for No, and it talks about normally it takes about 10 no's to get to a yes. So if you're not getting no's, then you're never going to get to the yeses. So every no that I get, I just assume that's one more step closer to a yes. So don't be discouraged by no's, and just keep pressing forward, but write it down in your book. And maybe follow up with them in a couple of months, and maybe not even a Plexus follow-up, but just follow up. Hey, how's it going? Haven't talked to you in a while. That type of a thing, because you want to keep that line of communication open, and you want to build those relationships. You know, we call this network marketing, but in all honesty, it ought to be called relationship marketing, because people will buy the Plexus products because of the products. The products are amazing. People may sign on as a wholesale ambassador because of the products, but people are going to join your team because of the relationship they have with you. So someone who really wants to work the business and work it with you, it's going to be based on your relationship with that person. Um, you know, you don't sign up to work a business under your, great Aunt Agnes, who is just doing it for wholesale purposes. You're going to join someone based on a relationship, based on what you see them doing as well. So keep building those relationships. Let me see here. Follow up with people. I go back through that book, back through that list. We do what we call Follow Up Friday on our team. And don't follow up with every single person every Friday, because they will just tune you out. But Follow Up Friday, you want to follow up with a minimum of 3 people that you've talked to earlier in the week or the week before, and check in with them, see if they've thought any more about it. Like maybe if you've talked about the products with them or talked about the business, check back in with them. If we have a special going on, that's a really easy way to follow up. If we have a meeting coming up, like an online party type meeting that we do, those are great ways to follow up with people. Hey, I know we've talked about Plexus a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to let you know that I'm involved in an online informational only meeting, and I'd love to invite you. If you would like to be part of that, let me know, and I'll get you added to the group. It's next Thursday night at 7 or whatever, just something like that, to help you to follow up with these people. Let me see here. Oh, I have my goals lists. Those are very important lists as well. And one of the things that I've been working on, and so here, I don't know if you can see it, it's another book. It says Diamond Docs or Diamond Documentaries. On Thursdays, Plexus sends out a new Diamond documentary for somebody who has recently gone Diamond. And they're all on YouTube, on Plexus Worldwide's YouTube channel. And I am picking a few a week, and I go in and I watch the Diamond Doc. First of all, watching Diamond documentaries is huge for your motivation, because you get to see that these are just real, everyday, normal people. These were not network marketing professionals, most of them. They didn't come into this business going, okay, yeah, I'm joining Plexus so that I can go straight to the top with this. Most of them joined as wholesale because they just wanted to get the products cheaper and lose a few pounds. And their friends started asking them about it. So they found that, they were sending all their friends to whoever they had, joined under or whatever. Then they're like, wait a minute, why am I doing that? I could have them on my team, or I could, get my products paid for or whatever. So, but that's the story of almost every one of the Diamond Docs. It's hilarious. But anyways, that's something else that I'm working on. And I can reference this list because I make notes from every Diamond documentary. Like I put, okay, Zach Hinkle, him and Nikki Hinkle, they're both Diamond ambassadors. They're a married couple. And I wrote, he's a pilot. He hated being on the road away from his family, computer geek, very charitable. He's the behind the scenes kind of guy. They're a husband and wife team. They have 4 kids. They're from Velma, Oklahoma. Their faith is very strong. Nikki, let's see here. She's a homeschools all of her kids. She has 1 child with developmental issues. She's a math major. So I like to write that stuff down, because this will help me to connect with people when I find out about someone who, could be interested in the business, or maybe I've never talked to them about the business before, but I meet this person, I think, wow, their story's a lot like Nikki's, and you can send a link to these Diamond Docs to somebody and say, hey, I watched this video and it really reminded me of you and your story. I wish you'd watch it and tell me what you think. I mean, it can be that, easy, that cut and dry, just a couple little lines. This video made me think of you. But if it's not sincere, like I've got a friend out in New Mexico and they are a rodeo family. So I sent her a video of Tammy Elmore, because they're also a rodeo family. And I sent her their diamond documentary. And I said, her story makes me think of you guys, because your life revolves around rodeoing and your kids rodeoing and roping. And it was sincere, because they do remind me of one another. But if I sent her a diamond documentary on, I'll have to look through my list. There's one young girl who made it to diamond, and she talks about how she just loves the shop and this, that, and the other. I mean, she wouldn't relate at all to that story. So if I had sent her that one and said, hey, I think that you'll really relate to this story, that would have been a bunch of hooey, and she would have saw right through it. But anyways, use those diamond documentaries. And I've thought about putting this list out there, and so everybody can have this list to reference. But I would really like for my team members to start watching diamond documentaries on their own. Like I said, Plexus emails one out almost every Thursday. But you can go to YouTube and go to Plexus Worldwide's YouTube channel and see all the diamond documentaries. And so those are so motivational. They're amazing. And there's a lot of diamonds. So there's a lot of videos out there to watch. I've only scratched the surface on getting to watch those. So I wanted to go over that with you guys. The other thing that I do is I've had to start keeping a paper planner because I'm really busy. And I write down all my meetings, my Tuesday night meetings, my Wednesday night meetings, everything that I do, I'm writing down in this planner. But I do take this with me. So this is very helpful, because I would find myself talking to someone and they'd say, yeah, I'd like to hear more about that. By the time I got home, I'd forget. I'd flat forget. I'd forget to send them the testimonies. I'd think about it, a week later or 5 days later, and be like, oh, you wanted me to send you some information about such and such, and I always feel bad when I do that. So I'm carrying that planner with me so that when I'm out and I'm talking to people, I can write that down and write myself a reminder that, hey, the next day I need to send them some information or send it to them that night or whatever. But anyways, that really covers the majority of what I wanted to talk about tonight. The main thing is I would love for you guys to get your list together. They say that someone who wants to do network marketing just as a hobby, just as a side job, they have a list of 100 people. But they say that those who want to be network marketing professionals have a list of no less than 200 to start with, and they add to it every day, or at least every week. So that is what I would love for my team to do. I would love for you guys to start with a list. No less than 100 would be my goal for you guys, to get a list of 100 names. And that doesn't mean you're contacting 100 people this week. That just means that you're starting to focus on who your network is and to see who your network is. And once you've got that list of 100, trust me, I don't start with number 1 and send them a message, and number 2 and send them a message. I'll go through there and think, oh, you know what? I'm really feeling it. I'm going to message Julie today. That was one that I messaged yesterday. And she's one that I haven't messaged over the last several weeks, even though she's been on my list. I just hadn't been feeling it until yesterday. But so I would encourage you all to start making those lists. And people sometimes say, oh, I don't know 100 people. I don't know 100 people. I promise you do. Church, coworkers, family, friends, neighbors, friends of family, in-laws, because I've got my side of the family, got my husband's side of the family, and then all of their cousins. And there's most people can make a list of 100 people pretty easily if they tried. These don't necessarily have to be people that you have a personal relationship with. Heck, most of the people on my team, I did not have a personal relationship with. I maybe knew casually. So definitely don't limit yourself. Just start writing down first and last names of everybody you can think of. And, stop when you hit 100 or something like that, just to get you going. And then sit back, look at that list and go, okay, who are who are 3 people on this list that I want to contact today about Plexus, whether it's about the products or the business. And never be afraid to contact somebody based on the business. Plexus products are so amazing, so we do tend to want to contact people based on the products and what the products can do for somebody. But never discount the fact that people need an additional income. And in this day and age, even 2-income families can barely cut it. Or if you have a situation where it is a 1-income family and, the wife stays at home or the husband stays at home, and they could really benefit from having an extra $500 a month or an extra $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month or whatever it is. Those they say that I think $250 for the average family in America can be life-changing. An additional $250 per month can be completely life-changing. So and that's not just people who are struggling to get by. Sometimes it's those people who look like they're doing really well, that $250 a month could really help them. So don't prejudge people. Don't try to decide in your mind who's going to need the business, who's not going to need the business, who's going to need the products, who's not going to need the products. When it comes to the products, I can assure you, I honestly totally believe there is not a human in this world who could not benefit from Plexus's products. Even if it's just the ProBio 5 and the BioCleanse. That is such an amazing combination and what it does for your health. So assume everybody needs it, assume everybody wants it, and get your list made and start contacting some of those people. If you want help on reaching out to people, holler at me, and I've got some videos on that as well. But I am going to go ahead and stop recording now, and then if you guys